Okay, let's start. We have the first question of an alkanes. It's from October, November 19. It says that alkanes are saturated hydrocarbon. Which type of reactions are alkane most likely to undergo? ये तो स्ट्रेट कट क्वेश्चन है. इसका जल्दी से आंसर बता दी. ए इलेक्ट्रोफिलिक एडिशन, इलेक्ट्रोफिलिक सब्स्टिट्यूशन,
सी।
फ्री रेडिकल. बिल्कुल सही. इट्स गोइंग टू बी सी. Coming to the question number 2. Now, but this question number 2 has the bromine in it. तो ये this is related to haloalkanes, और haloalkanes का भी हमने homologous series we have not done. So let's not do question number 2. Let's proceed on to the question number 3. The question number 3 says that it's from October, November 18, and it's a repeat question. You got it in question year 15 as well. A new jet fuel have been produced that is a mixture of different structural isomer of the compound Q. So this is compound Q. Now, which skeletal formula represent a structural isomer of Q? So we need to have the isomer. So isomer means that they have the same molecular formula. So for molecular formula, let's find out the molecular formula. So here, and here. So let's count how many carbon are going to be there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so you have 14 carbon. Now let's talk about the hydrogens, right? So 3, 3, 3, 1, 2, and here you have 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, and 3. Let's have the hydrogen here. So count all the hydrogens. That many hydrogens are going to be there. 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So approximately 29 hydrogens are there. Am I right? We can only focus on carbon as well. हम हाइड्रोजन ना भी काउंट करें तो हो सकता है. ठीक है, राइट. तो हमें सबसे पहले तो 14 कार्बन हमें काउंट करने हैं. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द कार्बन ओनली. तो हम इन सारे स्ट्रक्चर्स में सिर्फ कार्बन को काउंट करते हैं. ठीक है, तो कार्बन कितने हैं बी के अंदर? बी और सी. ओके, सो यू आर सेइंग डी, बट इन दिस केस D is same as C. Now let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it has 14 carbon in it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. यहाँ पर भी 14 कार्बन है. अब यहाँ पर कंफ्यूजन का खत्म करने के लिए इसी तरह से हमने ये कार्बन काउंट किया. आई थिंक ये 15 कार्बन है, और ये अगर हम कार्बन काउंट करें तो ये 13 कार्बन है. ठीक है, अब इन दोनों में से कौन सा आंसर है उसके लिए हमें क्या करना है? वी हैव टू नेम इट. हम इसको नेम करते हैं. कम ऑन हेल्प मी इन नेमिंग. तो अगर मैं इधर से नेम करती हूँ, तो पहला अल्काइल ग्रुप इज ऑन द फर्स्ट कार्बन, ये फर्स्ट है. फिर सेकंड पे है, फिर ये थर्ड, फिर ये फोर्थ पे है, फिर फिफ्थ, एंड फिर सिक्स पे, और फिर ये सेवन्थ पर है. ठीक है, माय अल्काइल ग्रुप्स. और अगर मैं इसकी बात करती हूँ, तो अब आप बताइए. कम ऑन हेल्प मी आउट. So when we count the carbon in this, we have 14 carbon. When we count their carbon, 15 carbon, 13 carbon, and 14 carbon in C and D. When we number it, let's number it from this side. Or number after numbering it, we got that the branches are on the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and this is the whole branch on the fifth, right? So it's on second, third, then fourth. Okay, it's on the fourth, and then you have fifth, and then you have on, if you have the sixth, seventh, otherwise also seven. तो फिफ्थ पे एक आपका मेगा ब्रांच है, और उसके बाद आपके पास सिक्स पर आपके पास दो ब्रांचेस हैं. यू हैव द सिक्स, राइट? So they are different. Now let's talk about, when we talk about this, ये वाला स्ट्रक्चर तो आपका ये हो गया. ठीक है, और इसके अंदर जब हम ब्रांचेस देखते हैं क्यू के अंदर, तो क्यू की ब्रांचेस जो है वो आपके पास सेकंड पर, थर्ड पे, फिफ्थ पे, एंड देन सेवन्थ पे, एंड देन एट्थ पे. ठीक है, और ये आपका नोनेन है. सही है, ये वाला स्ट्रक्चर इसके अंदर 7 कार्बन है, ये हेप्टेन है, सही है। अच्छा, अब हम इस स्ट्रक्चर को देखते हैं। हम इधर से कार्बन काउंट करते हैं, तो सेकंड पे ब्रांच है, फिर थर्ड पे ब्रांच है, फिर फिफ्थ पे ब्रांच है, फिर सेवन्थ पे ब्रांच है, फिर एट पे ब्रांच है, और ये भी नोन एन है। तो ये इसकी ब्रांचेस और क्यू की ब्रांचेस, इफ यू सी दैट द टोटल नंबर ऑफ longest continuous chain, that's a known in, and the number of branches are same on the same carbon. So basically, Q and D, Q and D are same structures with the same structures, and they have the same molecular formula as well. So basically, Q and C will be considered as isomers. So they are asking about the isomers. So C is your answer, okay? Because they have the same molecular formula but different structural formula. Coming to the next question, that's 4. Let's not do question number 4 because again the halogens are involved here. So let's move on to the question number 5. Okay. Now, which equation represent a valid propagation step? So for a propagation step, we need to have a free radical combining with the molecule, giving us new radical and giving us new molecule, right? So let's see it over here. Now, as I already told you that the hydrogen hum radical को consider नहीं करते because hydrogen radical is very very short lived, because it's a very small radical. It's very short lived. It combines very quickly with whatever the radical is available. So considering that the hydrogen radical here, तो हम ये इसको propagation step के हमें hydrogen as a radical on the product side नहीं मिलेगा, ठीक है। और हम which is a propagation step, so now let's consider which is going to be. So hydrogen की वजह से radical नहीं होगा, और इस केस में C2H5Cl when combined with the chlorine, it's giving you C2H6 plus chlorine radical, जो कि फॉर्मूला बिल्कुल C2H4 it is, plus chlorine radical plus HCl, ठीक है। तो दिस इज अ करेक्ट इक्वेशन विच यू हैव हियर। अब यहाँ पर आपके पास C2H5 मॉलिक्यूल है, अगेन हाइड्रोजन रेडिकल इज अगेन शॉर्ट लिव्ड, तो ये C भी नहीं होगा because of that. Now in this case you have the two radicals combining together, so this is an example of your termination reaction. So the answer is basically your B. Okay, coming to the next question, number 6. Which equation represent the initiation step of the substitution reaction between methane and between chlorine? ठीक है, मीथेन और क्लोरीन के बीच में कौन सा आपका initiation step होगा, ठीक है। So initiation step is always in the presence of the UV light, where the chlorine molecule splits up into the free radicals. So our initiation step, we can see it's the chlorine molecule in the presence of UV light is going to give us two chlorine radical. So C is going to be the answer in this case, in the question number 6. Moving on to the question number 7. Now, when we move on to the question number 7, it says that which radical is most likely to form by the homolytic fission of one covalent bond in the bromochloromethane, that is CH2BrCl. Now, it's saying that homolytic fission and most likely to form, right? So, which bond is the weakest bond? Which bond can break easily? For this, because it's 2017, until that time, till 2019, we were getting the data booklets and the bond energies were mentioned in the data booklet, right? So carbon iodine bond has a bond energy that's 238 kilojoules per mole. For carbon bromine, they require 276 kilojoule of energy. For carbon carbon, it's higher than this, and the chlorine chlorine bond require 96 kilojoule per mole of energy, and then you have carbon hydrogen which require 413 kilojoule per mole of bond energy, right? So which radical is most likely to form by the homolytic fission of one carbon covalent bond? Here we have a bromine and chlorine, so this compound is something like this. You have two hydrogen here, and you have a bromine and you have a chlorine. Now compare, the carbon bromine is 276 and the carbon chlorine is basically 338. The carbon chlorine energy required is 338. So the carbon chlorine is 338, carbon hydrogen is 413, and carbon bromine is 276. So the lowest energy is needed to break the carbon bromine bond. So when the carbon bromine bonds breaks down, so we are left with this radical, which is A, which does not have a carbon bromine bond here. So this bond will break, and this is a radical which will be produced whenever with the least energy, which will most likely will form with the least energy. Okay, coming to the question number 8. It's from May June 16. It says that which stage in the free radical substitution of ethane C2H6 by chlorine has the lowest activation energy. So lowest activation energy, as we have seen in sessions, that in the propagation step, the first step is always an endothermic, and the second step is basically the exothermic. Okay, so we have to look for the either the propagation second step, or we can say the initiation step. You require the UV rays. And when you talk about the termination where the two radicals combine together to form a molecule, the termination step is going to require the least activation energy, because the formation of a molecule, making of a molecule, is an exothermic, and exothermic processes have the least activation energy. So according to this question number 8, we have this is a propagation step, this is initiation step, this is again a propagation step, and this is my termination step. So the part D will be needing the least activation energy, because this is an exothermic, because a bond making is taking place. Coming to the question number 9. Okay, it says that chlorofluorocarbon damages the ozone layer, okay, by undergoing a reaction with a free radical mechanism. The first stage of this is initiation. Which equation is most likely to be the initiation state when a chlorofluoromethane is involved in such reactions? Okay, now here again we have to look at the bond energies. The bond energies are mentioned here. So the bond energies, basically here what is happening, you require the least amount of energy for the breaking. Now I have not mentioned carbon fluorine bond energy here. The carbon fluorine bond energy, this is the strongest of all the bonds. It has the bond energy that's 484. So the carbon fluorine bond will never break, because it will be requiring 484. But the carbon chlorine is 339, and carbon hydrogen is 413. So out of these three bonds which are existing here in the molecule, the carbon chlorine bond is the weakest bond, so that will undergo the elimination, or the substitution of the carbon chlorine will take place. And according to that, this particular bond will break. So your answer is going to be B. And when this bond break, so this is the radical which will be formed. In this case, the carbon chlorine radical is intact, so that means it has not been broken. In this case, again, the carbon chlorine bond is intact, so this has not been broken. In this case, the carbon chlorine bond has been broken and the fluorine has been broken. So it's forming two radical, which is very unnatural of the propagation reaction to get two radicals there. So this is absolutely wrong. So we have the option C incorrect, option A incorrect. We have an option B, which is the correct answer for this particular MCQ. Coming to the question number 10. Now, when we move on to the question number 10, we have, it says that oct1-ene, it's a double bonded having 8 carbon unsaturated alkene, can be thermally cracked. Which combination of compound W, X, Y, and Z can be obtained by thermal cracking of octene? Now, let's leave it, because we have not done the alkenes yet. So we can do this particular, we'll be attempting this question once we are done with alkenes, right? Okay. Okay, can you attempt question number 11 and see what answer are you arriving to? The question says that the first propagation step in the reaction between the methane and chlorine is shown over here. This is the first propagation step, where you have a molecule and a free radical giving you new radical and a molecule. How many different first propagation steps are possible in the reaction between pentane and chlorine. So this is the example they have given you of methane and chlorine radical. Now they're asking for pentane, which is CH3, CH2, 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 and CH3. If you talk about the pentane, as I explained you, these are going to be the terminal carbon. So whether the free radical being formed here or here means one isomer. Okay. Now coming to the next part, this is your second carbon. So whether the radical being formed here after removal of hydrogen or after substitution of hydrogen, in this case, this is going to be your second isomer. And the third isomer will be when the hydrogen is substituted from this carbon. So altogether, in this case, in the question number 11, we will be getting three isomer. Have I, you remember us doing the similar question when we were studying about the alkanes, right? So if whether you remove the hydrogen or substitute the hydrogen of the first carbon, either this one or this one will be getting one isomer. Okay, when you remove the substitute the hydrogen of this or this, because they both are second carbon, starting from this side or this side, will be getting the second isomer. And this is the third carbon, so when you will be substituting the hydrogen of this carbon, we'll be getting the third isomer. So altogether you'll be getting the three isomers here. Okay, understood? All right, so let's go on to the question number 14. So in this case, the least activation energy will be needed when you have an exothermic reaction where the bond making is taking place, which take place in termination, where the two free radicals combine together. So that gives us an answer B again. Okay, fine. Now going ahead, let's go to little more. Okay, we have a question number 18. Let's say this one. High energy radiation in the stratosphere produces free radicals from the chlorofluoroalkane, commonly known as CFCs. Which free radical is most likely to result from the radiation? That means UV rays जो है वो कौन सा फ्री रेडिकल, कौन सा बॉन्ड ब्रेक करेगा, ठीक है? तो वो आपका बॉन्ड ब्रेक करने के बाद जो बाकी चीज बचेगी वो आपका फ्री रेडिकल होगा. तो अभी हम ऊपर देख चुके हैं कि हमारा कौन सा बॉन्ड वीकेस्ट बॉन्ड है इसके अंदर. सो आवर वीकेस्ट बॉन्ड इज कार्बन bromine, that is 276. Then comes your carbon chlorine, which is 339. Then is your carbon hydrogen, which is 413, and then your carbon fluorine. So our weakest bond or even weak bond is of iodine, which is 238. तो हेलोजेंस में कार्बन के साथ जो वीकेस्ट बॉन्ड होता है वो आयोडीन का होता है, बिकॉज कार्बन जितना बड़ा मॉलिक्यूल एटम होगा, एटॉमिक रेडिया जिसका ज़्यादा बड़ा होगा, उतना ही बॉन्ड स्ट्रेंथ जो होगी वो कम होगी. सो व्हेन यू मूव ऑन टू द हेलोजेंस फ्रॉम फ्लोरीन, chlorine, bromine, and then you have an iodine. तो यहाँ पर atomic sizes of the fluorine is smallest. So when the atomic size is smallest, so the bond strength is maximum in the case of carbon fluorine. Even if the data is not given to you, but you can just knowing this fact that as you go down, the bromine iodine's atomic radii is maximum. So the bond is always between the two nuclei, the distance between the two nuclei. So carbon and iodine distance of the two nuclei are farther apart. So the length is more in this case. So the bond length is max. Since the length is max, so the bond strength is going to be minimum here. So that means the carbon iodine bond will easily break. Then comes carbon bromine, then comes carbon chlorine, and then comes carbon fluorine. Okay, and hydrogen comes below the hydrogen. Carbon hydrogen bond come in between carbon fluorine and carbon chlorine. Now when you know this particular fact, they don't want you to know any particular energy. They're just asking you that high energy radiation in the stratosphere produces the free radical. And you have chlorofluoroalkanes. So chlorofluoroalkanes have carbon, it has fluorine, and it has chlorine there. So which bond can break easily? It can be carbon hydrogen bond, it can be carbon fluorine bond, which will not break, right? Carbon hydrogen bond is also stronger but less stronger than carbon fluorine. So we are left with carbon chlorine. So carbon chlorine bond will be breaking. So we will be looking at the radicals. So these are the radicals, right? These all are the radicals, so we have to see to it where the carbon chlorine bond has been eliminated from this molecule. Basically the molecule is CHF, so let me draw it here. So the molecule will be something like C, you have H, you have F here, and sorry, you have an F here and you have a Cl. Then again you have carbon and it is bonded to 2 fluorine, and then you have a chlorine on this side. So basically this particular bond will be breaking. Either this bond will break or this bond will break because it's the weakest. So we have to see to it that whether this is going to form a radical or this is going to form a radical due to the elimination of this or due to the elimination of this. So look for the radical and come to the right option A, B, C, and D. Now I've explained the answer. You have to just give me whether the answer is A, B, C, or D. Since this is the structure of the molecule, so I told you that carbon chlorine is the weakest of the bond, right? Because the bond length is more as compared to carbon fluorine or carbon hydrogen. So this bond will be breaking. So if this bond break, then this will be making a radical. If this bond break, this will be making a radical. So let's check it out from the option A onwards. Okay, we have an option A, and they're saying that this is basically the chlorine is already there, right? Now from this carbon, the chlorine has been removed, so the radical dot should be on this carbon, not on this. So because of that, A is incorrect. Now when we talk about the B, so the chlorine is already intact with this carbon. That means fluorine has been removed. So fluorine cannot be removed because it requires more energy here. Now, in this particular scene, this chlorine has been removed and this carbon is a free radical, so C is the answer. In this case, the fluorine is there, the chlorine is also there. So hydrogen has been removed. So hydrogen cannot remove because hydrogen again require large energy. So from our understanding, the C should be the correct answer because radical will be formed by the same carbon from where the element has been removed. This could be an answer, but because they have the wrong dot on the wrong carbon, that is why this dot should be on this particular carbon. This dot, which is showing this carbon as a radical, should be actually on this carbon. If this would have been right, then this A would have also been correct. I hope I'm clear till here. Fine. On to the question number. Next question is, let's go ahead and let's look at the question number 22. Now, when we talk about the question number 22, we have this is a reaction between chlorine and propane in an ultraviolet rays produces two isomeric monochloropropane. There's one chlorine only. Fine. Now, C3H7Cl as a product. One chlorine is being added. This is a formula for this C3H7Cl. Okay. Now, which information about this reaction is correct? Heterolytic तो reaction नहीं होगा because आपका ये ultraviolet rays के presence में you're reacting propane with the chlorine, so it's going to be free radical substitution reaction. और जब भी free radicals बनते हैं वो homolytic fission की वजह से बनते हैं. ठीक है? So that means the heterolytic answer is going to be wrong. Now let's look at the reaction. Okay, so we have a molecule which is basically C3H, which is C3H7Cl. So you have C3, CH2, CH2Cl. It can be this isomer, or you can write the first carbon, either this carbon or this carbon. The hydrogen has been substituted, right? Both the carbon will give us the same isomer. This is going to be the same isomer, whether the hydrogen is removed from this one or this one, because they both have been substituted at the first carbon. So both will be giving us the same isomer. Now the second time, CH3, CH2, CH3, if the substitution take place from here and we add a chlorine to this, then we will be getting another isomer, right? So this is going to be our second one. Fine. So in this case, if this is the case, we will be getting, so this is your primary hydrogen being substituted because it's been substituted from first carbon. Okay, the formula was C3CH7Cl. So the primary hydrogen has been substituted, it's been substituted by the chlorine. And we know that the secondary carbons, secondary hydrogens are more prone to the substitution because they form more stable carbocations. So there is a possibility of having more of secondary than of primary. So we will be getting a heterolytic homolytic fission where we will be getting a ratio of expected ratio of 1 chloropropane to 2 chloropropane produced is 3 to 1, because we know that this is less stable and the secondary carbocation, secondary hydrogens are more stable and they are more prone to the substitution. So their percentage, their chances of producing the isomer is comparatively much more than the primary hydrogen being substituted. And this is again we have studied when we were doing it. So we will be, this is going to be homolytic where the isomeric ratio is going to be 3 to 1, because secondary hydrogen, they are more susceptible to the radical attack. Okay, and they will be forming a more stable isomer. So their chances of producing 3 is to 1, which is your free radical substituent formed by the primary hydrogen. Okay, got it?